Back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
All righty, welcome back. And let's get right to it and introduce Dick Vermeil, 15-year NFL head coach. Also the former San Jose State head coach, coached in Philadelphia from 76 to 82, and, of course, won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Hey, Coach, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you. You're giving me credit for coaching San Jose State. No, I applied for the job, but I didn't get it.
Oh, you know what? That's going to be a penalty on my producer. But I should know that, too.
We love you, Coach.
I should know that, too. Hey, let me turn our attention to Sunday's game between the Niners and the Eagles. And let me ask you this as a coach. You know, the Eagles beat them last year 31-7. Brock Purdy got hurt. And there was a lot of talking between the teams afterwards about, you know, how deserved that win was. And I think Philadelphia may have felt a little disrespected, the players. Does that matter on Sunday?
I think it does maybe a little bit going into the game. It makes good locker room chatter. But I think after the first 3 or 4 snaps, that's all forgotten. You know, I really do. Yeah.
By the way, my producer just said he messed up by saying you played at San Jose State. My fault. My fault.
Yeah. Not very well either, so don't fault him.
Coach, let me ask you this, because you had a lot of success with an unknown guy named Kurt Warner. They got a movie about him. He was a great quarterback, came out of nowhere, and Brock Purdy, as we know, was the last pick in the NFL draft, Mr. Irrelevant. But now he's on the cusp of, you know, doing some special things. Do you see any similarities between these two? And what have you seen from Brock Purdy for the people that say he's a system of the quarterback? Break Brock Purdy down for us if you can, Coach.
Well, first off, for Purdy to be doing what he's been doing, he's got to have some innate abilities that didn't really show up earlier. You know, obviously, like Kurt Warner, once he got in the heat of the battle, he could slow the game down. It was not too big for him, regardless of what offense he was running. I think Purdy is the same thing. You put him in any offense, he's just one of those guys that doesn't allow the tempo of the game to take him out of his realm of understanding of what's going on and where to go with the football. You know, he's spectacular that way.
15-year NFL head coach Dick Vermeil joining us on 95.7 The Game. Super Bowl winning coach also, and he coached the Philadelphia Eagles. Dick Vermeil joining us. When it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, coach, how do you measure how, I've heard, the 49ers may have better personnel, but I feel like that's ignoring the offense and defensive lines. How do you assess that matchup between these two teams?
Well, personnel-wise, when I think the Philadelphia Eagles are totally healthy, I don't think anybody has better personnel throughout the 22 starters. And some depth in the defense and offensive line as well. I'm sure that the 49ers have some outstanding strengths. You know, I don't know them like I know the Eagles. And, I don't go to Eagle practices or anything. I'm a fan. I watch from the countryside out here and watch the games, and I go back and study them sometimes, and I study all the information paper-wise. But I think, if the shoe had been on the other foot last year, and if it was Hurts that got hurt and the 49ers won, the talk back and forth would be just the opposite, but the same topic. We would have won if our quarterback had stayed healthy. That's human nature. You're going to defend yourself in a loss, no question.
Coach,
I've watched the 49ers play twice in great detail, and the 2 times collectively I saw them play, I thought they were the best team I had seen play all year.
Yeah, Coach, I'm with you, and the fact that they're favored in this matchup, it kind of blows my mind, but it doesn't. I want to ask you about Kyle Shanahan and his brilliance, and the reason I say brilliance is, one, Deebo Samuel. He's been to a Super Bowl without McCaffrey. We know McCaffrey's great, but the stress that a guy like Deebo puts on a defense pre-snap, how many other coaches do you think would have had that vision for Deebo and just the impact he has pre-snap on opposing defenses?
Well, I think there are a lot of fine coaches in this league, and I think Deebo's talents and strengths are so obvious that they may not take advantage of them in the same way within the same scheme, but I promise you they try to find ways to put the ball in his hand. He's electrifying and exciting as an old coach to watch play. I really enjoy watching him. Yeah. And nobody's doing any better job of coaching than Kyle Shanahan and his staff. Yeah, nobody. His dad was a great football coach, a Hall of Fame coach, and he will be there. Hell, if I'm in there, he ought to be there. And I think it's in his blood, and his scheme and what he does and how he does it. I've studied the numbers both offensively and defensively. Numbers-wise, you take all the variations in numbers, they should be favored. Okay, they should be favored. Whether they can play that well in Philadelphia and the Eagles allow them to play that well remains to be seen.
Coach, Brock Purdy's got about 16 to 18 starts under his belt, and everybody still wonders if this thing's for real or not. You had Kurt Warner. All right, he came out of nowhere. What did you see, and when did you see it when you knew this guy is good and he's going to be good for a while?
Well, it took a few games. At first, we were just almost disillusioned. You know? I've studied the first 5 to 6 games of his starting career, which was his second year in the league, which he only played like 10 snaps the year before. And I don't think there's ever been a quarterback that played the first 5 or 6 games of his career as efficiently and as outstanding as he did. Hell, 18 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 3 games over 130 quarterback efficiency ratings. He was amazing. When I really decided, hey, this guy is really for real, we were playing the 49ers in St. Louis, and they had beaten the Rams. The 49ers had beaten the Rams 17 times, and the 49ers slogan was all same old Rams, we'll beat them. And we were ahead 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. And so I remember turning to my offensive line coach and saying to Jim Hannafin, hey, this kid, he can play. It's just, you don't want to be disillusioned by early great performances and think that's the way it's going to be every day or every week. But he went on way beyond expectations, probably his own. I thought he could play. I did not know he could play as well as he did play.
Coach, I told my partner last year when it was announced that McCaffrey was going to be a 49er, how you can be a product of your environment. And I admitted I forgot how great McCaffrey was. And now he's just everything to this offense. Do you see any similarities between Christian McCaffrey and Marshall Faulk, who you coached?
I would say they're very similar. I would say they're very, very both extremely gifted. I don't know if I've ever been around a better total athlete running back than Marshall. I think he could have played started at corner. I don't know if Christian could do that. I think he could have started as the wide receiver. Okay. Yeah, but he was so gifted as an athlete and then applied to the position. And Mike Martzwith, our offensive coordinator, did a beautiful job of taking advantage of all the things he could do, just like you're doing with Christian. Hell, he's already got 939 yards. My God. He's marvelous. And the great thing I like about what the 49ers do is they let him play. People rotating these running backs in. I think sometimes maybe he has a better chance of getting hurt if he plays more reps. I don't know. But I've always felt running backs get better. The real good ones get better as they carry the ball in the game.
Dick Vermeil joining us on 95.7 The Game, Super Bowl winning coach, Hall of Famer. I'm looking at those first games of Kurt Warner that you just talked about on Pro Football Reference. And the game you're talking about was a 42-20 win over the Niners, and he went 20 for 23 with 5 touchdown passes and just 1 pick. I guess my question is this. How, you guys started, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight, 7 straight wins. What's the difference between a player who uses that start and gets better as opposed to a player who the league catches up to?
Well, a lot of that is, I think, dependent on the offensive coaching staff and the head coach, the overall program. Is the program sophisticated enough to keep the variables moving through the season so you're not seeing the exact same things? We used to say we didn't run the same play until every 4th game, maybe. Okay. Now, I don't know if I never really went back and studied if we did that, but they would be really hard to dictate us. But I do know this. In the playoff games, Tampa Bay shut us down pretty good. We were fortunate to win that game, and we didn't blow the guys out in the Super Bowl either, So, but I really think if the guy's really good early in the season, The coaches are the ones that allow him to keep going within scheme and exploit defenses.
Coach, I'm curious to get your answer on this next question. It goes back to MVP, which has turned into pretty much a quarterback award. No non-quarterback has won the MVP since Adrian Peterson, I believe, in 2012. Big deal, no big deal, or do you say that's how it is now? It's a quarterback award.
Well, I think it is. Who gets paid the most? Okay, yeah. They're going to give the best guy the most money. Sometimes the guy that gives the most money, it doesn't end up being the guy that makes the difference, and it really isn't the MVP. But there's a lot of candidates, I'm sure. Your guy's going to be a candidate. Jalen Hurts a candidate. Jalen has advantage, and I've studied the stats between both of these guys. They're both very, very good. Okay, the nice thing, the edge the 49ers have right now is they haven't been turning the ball over and they've been taking it away a little bit more. Right. The Eagles haven't gotten into that category yet. But the big advantage Hurts gives you is his really running ability. Now, they say he isn't running as much and all that kind of stuff. But when he has to run, you watch him run. He can run well. And he can just, he can create the third and longs. And the other thing he does is he helps dictate coverages. It's afraid to go to man-to-man against that guy. To cover everybody, someone better be signed to him. He's going to run for a long game, So that gives him an advantage, I think, over defenses. And it also creates more issues for the defensive staff in preparing to play the Eagles. Yeah.
Dick, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And enjoy the game on Sunday. Should be a lot of fun.
Oh, I'm going to watch it. Believe me, I really love the.
I was going to ask him for a prediction. Yeah,
15-year head coach, former Super Bowl winning coach, coached the Eagles.
Yep,
he was the original sleep in the office guy.
No, man. A lot of guys that ruined their marriage, Steiny. They not a lot of time at home.
A lot of marriages were saved.
I see where you're going.
No,
I get that. Right. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Oh, boy. Dick is the man.
God bless him. Yeah.